Good morning, Bardstown and Nelson County. Welcome to Bradford Brooks. Jim and Margie here with you again for the next hour. Good morning, Margie.
Good morning, Jim.
Well, we have a beautiful sunny Wednesday morning outside here in beautiful downtown Bardstown. It could stay like this until September, I think.
I'm all for that. If I can get a vote, my vote's for that. The perfect weather. It's not too hot, not too cold, not rainy, not snowy.
Yeah, we've had our share of
and I found a good parking spot.
Yes,
so
you
it's
did.
A perfect day.
And I parked right in front of you.
I know you did.
It was one of those rare days when the sun and the moon and the stars and the planets
everything aligns, and right almost out front too. I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna be a good day, huh?
All right. Well, Margie, I'm going to let you introduce our special guest today, if you will.
I will certainly do
very
that.
Honored.
We're really honored today to have the new executive director of the Guthrie Opportunity Center, Dr. Lee Look. And I say it slowly because when I say it fast, it comes out funny. So
I appreciate you taking the time with that. It's a very short name. I need all the airtime I can get.
So, Dr. Look.
Please call me Lee.
All right, good. Thank you. I like that. The first thing I want to ask is to ask about you and your family. Tell us how you ended up in Bardstown and a snapshot of you and your family.
I would love to talk about me.
All right.
This is an incredible opportunity. So yeah, I'm from Louisville. I was raised there. I went to Center College when I was 18, and following that, I got out of school and I started running around the country doing theater and film and television, and was kind of a vagabond artist for a long time. At some point, I left Los Angeles and came back to Louisville. Wanted to go to grad school, learn about psychology. At the same time, I became an EMT and a firefighter, and sort of worked my way through grad school working for the fire department. I did the fire department for 18 and a half years. I also worked a lot with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and that became my passion along with the fire service. I was doing both jobs at the same time. The fire service, I was very close to my 20-year retirement when I got burned in a fire pretty seriously and was never able to go back due to some nerve damage that happened in my hands. So almost got to the full retirement, but then had to take an early retirement. But in a way that became a really positive turn of events, because I was able to then focus more of my time and energy to my next hopeful opportunity, and that's how I ended up getting this opportunity in Bardstown. You asked about my family. I'm very fortunate. I've got two parents still around that live a mile from me that I love very much. My brother moved last year 2 miles from me. My partner Sandy, we live in a great little neighborhood very near her son and daughter-in-law and her first grandson. I don't know if you guys ever have had grandkids, but it is better than anything except maybe this weather. It is there's nothing that we love more.
That's right.
So we have a really great, fortunate life. I am the luckiest person. I'm the luckiest person in the world. I have gotten out of bad situations that I maybe shouldn't have gotten out of. I've got love around me. I have food on my table and a roof over my head. There's nobody in this world that's luckier than me. So I say all that to say that if I can devote my life to try to help others, whether it's as a firefighter, as an EMT, or working with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, if I can do that, then that's my job.
It's not exactly a linear development, is it?
No, not at all.
You've not taken a well-trod path
but
to where you are now.
No, not at all. And much to the chagrin of my family at some time.
Yeah, the thread that connects everything, just from outside looking in, is service.
Thank you.
Service to others. I mean, it's a tremendous, 18 years in the fire service. I mean, the first responders, firemen who run into burning buildings instead of away. I have utmost respect.
Well, thank you
for not just for the service, but the dedication to that service, the training, and service to others and above. Of course, you have all that training so you can do your job safely. as safely as possible.
We are very well trained, and sometimes you get bit. Sometimes things go wrong. Right. The positive is, fortunately, as I think you mentioned, or if you didn't, I'm a mental health practitioner as well, and I've been able to use that to support the fire service even after my retirement.
Exactly.
I am the clinical director for the City of Louisville Fire Department, which is a 500-person department that is really valuing mental health now, and I think we're really helping people stay on the job in a healthy way. We're helping their relationships at home. We're making sure that things don't weigh on them and ruin their retirements.
Right. Well, I will tell you that first responders are sometimes in situations that, it's hard to deal with some of the pain and the tragedy that first responders have to deal with. So, and I know in the years past, there may not have been the focus on the mental health of first responders and how they have to deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. So it's heartening to know that is changing, because it's I've known first responders younger in my younger days who I know it now, I didn't know it then, but they were suffering some from just everything they've had to see as part of their job.
You're 100% right, Jim. It was a topic that wasn't allowed to be mentioned. It was toughen up, go back to work, and we don't want to talk about this. And there's a time and a place for that. Right. The time to be emotional is not when you're doing the job, but it will build up. The best example is the television show MASH from years ago. That is a perfect example of how trauma and stress influence personality and relationships. And we're very fortunate right now that there's an emphasis on that. But it wasn't always that way. You're absolutely correct.
Now this is kind of an off-the-wall question, but in your earlier life, you were an artist. Just curious, what was your media?
So I did a lot of theater because I have a pretty loud voice. And I did a lot of work with deaf theater, with sign language. I really love that language. I did get to do some movies and television. I had little moments on some soap operas and some network shows. And what I realized is that I was never going to be handsome enough to be the leading man. Right. So I was always going to be the buddy or the guy next door. And it was always going to be a singing for my supper. And so what I realized when I walked into a Dr. Pepper commercial audition, and there was 20 guys that looked kind of like me of different heights and 20 guys that were 20 years older of different heights. And we were all there just because somebody wanted to get their job to get a health insurance benefit, because you have to make enough money in the union to get health insurance. And at that point, I realized that I don't want to be 20 years from now auditioning for a Dr. Pepper commercial, because that would have been me. I was never going to be George Clooney or someone of that ilk. But knowing that is knowing yourself is a great gift.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It comes with age sometimes.
It does.
And experience. You've been on the job at the Go Center now as CEO for what'd you say, a couple of months now?
2 months.
All right. Well, had you been in Bardstown previously?
I have, yes. Okay. We've come here socially to enjoy what Bardstown has to offer. I hear there's some bourbon here.
Just a little.
Yeah, so I have dipped my toe or whole body into that water. But no, Bardstown's a suburb of Louisville.
Right, it basically is.
Yeah. In my previous job, I was driving 30 minutes north 71. This is 50 minutes south 65. It's the same.
We've mentioned that you are the executive director of the Go Center. For those people who don't know what the Go Center is, would you like to talk about that?
I would love nothing more than to talk about it. The Go Center is so many things, so forgive me if this gets long-winded, but we have till noon, and if a commercial comes in, just cut me off.
That's all right.
So we are the Guthrie Opportunity Center Foundation, and we are On the Go Foods. And what this organization does is it serves individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, specifically as it relates to the world of work. We have partnerships with Nelson County Industries, with Communicare, which provides a day training program for people with intellectual disabilities. For the sake of this show, if I can use the acronym IDD, it's easier to say.
Say it again.
IDD, Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities.
All right.
We work with the Recycling Center is part of our 80,000 square foot building that we have. Our On the Go Foods is a front-facing lunch spot 5 days a week and catering company. And in that company, we have two primary staff, Brenda and Jillian, and we employ people with intellectual disabilities to create the food, to sell the food, and to serve the food. We have a 20,000 square foot event space that we employ people with intellectual disabilities to set up and take down the events and decorate the events and help with the catering. With those event spaces, we ask our renters to support our mission through a mission surcharge that is tax deductible. That surcharge goes to pay for the people we support to work the events. We have multiple other partnerships that have been developed in the last 2 months and over the next 2 months that are coming up that I'm sure we'll get to talk about at some point. But if to summarize what the Guthrie Center is, or the GO Center is it is an organization that supports people with IDD specifically as it relates to the world of work.
Great. Well, as we talked about earlier in the kitchen before we came in here, this all started because one mother wanted equal opportunity for her child. So it grew organically from there.
It did.
Yes.
And you probably being brought in, but being here for more than a couple of months, probably know the story better than I do. But I do know that Miss McKay and Miss Dem wanted more for their children, as you said. Yes. They refused to take no for an answer, and they refused to treat their children as anything other than standard, typical offspring.
Yes.
And that's how great things get done, is by angry moms.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, you've helped when you were, before you even got on the school board.
Oh yeah,
you were a big advocate for health care.
Well, yeah, I was the health care chairman of the PTO, and I persuaded the school board to hire a registered nurse simply by this way. I told them exactly what the regulations said that came down from the state, and that we were not meeting them. And if that child fell off of a sliding board or any other accident, that they were not only liable as a board, but they were liable individually. So it was not long before we had a registered nurse. Now, being a registered nurse myself, they offered me the job, and I told them I had a job raising 6 children. I did not need another one. So yes, you don't have to have an official position to get things done.
No, it really is about passion, and I think that's what sustained it as well. The Guthrie Center's been around a long time.
I think it is. I think it is.
You know, if you talk to our board members, they're there because they're passionate. I don't know what the board was expecting necessarily when they hired me, but because we have a small staff, I mentioned Brenda and Jillian, Linda's our operations manager, and Eric's the director of our garden center, and me, and that's our primary staff. We need more help to get done what the board wants to get done, which is to grow and increase our impact and to serve more people. Ultimately, that's all we're here to do, is serve.
Right.
So the board has now been tasked with a lot of work, and they are stepping up unbelievably. We have committees that are functioning really smoothly, that are helping with development and fundraising, and with marketing, with information technology, with our finances. They're working extremely hard, and I'm so honored that they're willing to devote their resources, not financial necessarily, but their time. We obviously need financial resources, but time is so valuable in today's world. It's much easier to write a check than it is to come to a meeting and do some work.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to succeed, if the Guthrie Center is going to succeed, I need their support. And they've been 100% rock stars to help me. Everybody's been amazing. I've not had anybody that has found a roadblock that we couldn't get through.
Well, now, the key to having anything like this for a nonprofit, you must obtain funding somewhere. So talk to us about your fundraising efforts and any grants and that kind of thing that help to keep something like this going, especially one that's on the scale of the Go Center, which is huge.
We are a big space and looking to be a big player in the world of intellectual disabilities. There is no place else like us in the States, and I would argue not many in the country. I know of a few, but not many in the country do what we do. And I'll talk about the funding. I know you asked about that. But So I've been in the world of intellectual disabilities for over 30 years. I'm 15. I was 15 when I started. I wasn't actually 15. I was a lot older than that. The difficult part about the world of work for people with IDD is getting the community to accept it. Mm-hmm. It's convincing a small business owner or a large business owner that hiring someone with a disability is not just you doing something good for the community, but it can help your organization. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge, mm-hmm. right? So it's making those community partnerships work. It's developing not just a comfort level of the people we support in the community, but developing a comfort level of the community members with the people we support, to know that I'm hiring this person not because they have a disability, but because they're this person. So that is the most difficult challenge that any organization that seeks to employ people with IDD finds. And we're hitting it head on. There's no alternative, right? No is not an answer. Mm-hmm. We just have to find the right way to do it. You asked about fundraising. We do function on a lot of private donations, and we have some grant funding that comes in. We are seeking more grant funding. That is what the board has tasked me with. I have a long history of grant writing through the fire service. We work with United Way and Kentucky Colonels and other small private donations. And then we do fundraising. Like every nonprofit, we have some of our big fundraisers through the year.
Oh, yeah.
We have Farm to Table in August, which is, because we have this garden program, I mentioned Eric and his garden program, we grow a significant amount of food, and we bring a local chef in. The last few years it's been Newman, who is a chef here in Bardstown who's very well known, and he creates dishes based on the stuff that we grow. It's a really cool concept. We've done it for several years now, and we're doing that again this year. We also have a festival of trees where different holiday tree events are put up in our space.
That's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
It is a very big deal. We also do an annual funding drive. This year we're in about 4 weeks, we're going to be participating very heavily in the Kentucky Gives Day, which is sponsored through the Kentucky Nonprofit Network and Central Kentucky Community Foundation. And we are starting a new initiative, and this Kentucky Gives Day is going to provide funds, hopefully, for this new initiative. It's called GoQuest, and GoQuest is a different kind of day program that meets the people that we serve in 4 different areas: live, love, work, and play. And these are the 4 areas that all human beings exist in. If we can live every day and love every day and work every day and play every day, then we're a complete person. And that's what we're going to work with this new program. So we're going to pilot it this summer. The funds we raise, Kentucky Gives Day is a 24-hour mad dash for funding. I'm not a social media person. I don't have a personal Facebook account, but I do now because I have to be on social media. So I've learned to make something called Reels, which I guess the kids do nowadays. Yeah.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I post and I Instagram now, and I have no idea if it's working, but we started to put out our calls for funding for the GoQuest program, as well as the Kentucky Gives Day.
Now on Facebook and Instagram, do you have how can I find you?
Guthrie Opportunity Center.
Okay, all right.
Or on the Go Foods, we have 2.
Okay.
And you'll see me. I learned that you have to write stuff out if you're going to talk on camera, because inevitably you're going to say it wrong or say something horrible. Yeah. I learned that the camera is not friendly to most people. You just have to go and do it and hope that people give you some grace.
Yeah, I have for about a year now, I've had a YouTube channel, and I spend most of my time not making content, but editing my, all those out.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have a script or bullet points at least, because that's, when I first started radio, my kids would listen and they'd say, "Daddy, you say too much." And I'm like, you're right.
At least you didn't get into that, I've listened a lot of years to the and conversation with my kids. I don't do it anymore.
I try very hard to monitor myself, because it's easy to slip into that when you get uncomfortable or you get a little flustered.
Well, and sometimes mentally you need a moment to kind of collect your thoughts and where you're going and what you're going to say.
No doubt.
It's a mental comma.
Well,
I like that.
Well, as working in theater and that sort of past, you're not unfamiliar with speaking publicly.
I'm not unfamiliar, and I miss theater very much. It was a great passion and love of mine. What I've discovered is I don't memorize as well as I used to. When I was younger, I could take a script and 2 days later go on stage, and if not, I'll improvise. It'll be fine. I'm terrified now. I'm glued to that script, and so I haven't done a lot of that lately. I do miss it very much.
Well, you'll be surprised to know that George Clooney said exactly the same thing.
Well, he and I have a lot in common. We both struggle with the cross of being terribly handsome.
That is a burden to bear.
It is a burden.
Oddly, I've never had that problem. I don't know why.
I don't know. You're handsome to me.
I agree. I think you look amazing.
Well, I will tell you, the Go Center has a long, long history in Nelson County and Bardstown of the service, and I think for a lot of times, in my book, of course, I don't have any family or close friends with IDD. It was kind of one of the hidden gems in Nelson County, but it has evolved into a much larger, more visible outreach, and I don't know, the community really benefits so much. Maybe not as much, of course, those of us who've been here forever, you take things like this for granted.
Yeah.
You may not necessarily appreciate the uniqueness and the service that this provides to your clientele.
Well, thank you for saying that. Hearing it from someone that's not me is much more meaningful than hearing it from me. And I really appreciate that. Being characterized as a gem in a community, that doesn't happen overnight. That took a lot of work and a lot of people's efforts to maintain a good reputation and to do good work. I put that squarely on the board in the previous leaderships. I'm sure you all know Tom Hamilton, who was the person that I took over for. Mm-hmm. Tom is an icon in this community. Following him, I can't be Tom, right? I've got to be me and hope that people don't wish I was Tom all the time. But he left us in a great spot. The board has put us in a spot to be successful. If I don't make this happen, that's squarely on me, and the board should get rid of me in 6 months if it's not going the way it should. But we're working really, really hard. Everybody is.
But the people that you serve, the mentally handicapped, they're lovable, hardworking people. Mm-hmm. I mean, they make the best employees for jobs which are a rote thing, which is something that they can learn and do wonderfully. And so they are an asset to the community.
I agree. I think so. And I think it's the job prospects are sort of unlimited based on everybody's got a different skill set, just as you or I have a different skill set. The thing that I find is most engaging about the people that we serve is generally they have an unconditional love for people in life. Right. And we don't, right? We are cynical, angry people most of the day, but they are not. And if this is going to sound odd, but if we treated each other the way that we treat the people we support, we would, you mentioned political differences earlier. Those would not exist. We would just want to do what's right for the most people.
Right, exactly.
And so yes, we're grateful to have an amazing group of individuals that work at On the Go Foods and at the Guthrie Center. I now want to share that with the rest of the community. I want other people to get the benefit of what we do.
Well, they make us more humane.
That's a good way to put it. I like that, Margie. That's a good way to put it.
And so that we can show our best side instead of being suspicious and being judgmental. They are not judgmental. They just love people and show it. And so in response, we do the same thing. So they really soften us and make us more human.
I think that's the best way to put it. And I hope that that's a message that we can convey. When, the next step in this employment process is to start shadowing at local businesses, not putting pressure on anybody, but let's just spend an hour at I'll mention Taste of Bardstown. They carry a lot of our sandwiches and salads and frozen foods. We would love to partner with them. I would love to partner with Garage Coffee, Dave over there, has been a great supporter of us. And businesses like that, I don't mean to single businesses out and exclude others,
right.
but those are the two that I've had conversations with.
Well,
about this.
I know that Kroger for years at different times had, handicap.
Yeah, the Kroger next to my house does.
And doing they do a wonderful job.
I couldn't agree more. It's just convincing people that it's going to be okay, that it's not going to hurt your bottom line, that it's not going to be something your community is not going to support. Right. I find that in general the community is supportive. It's getting someone to make that investment. And again, when I say investment, I don't necessarily mean financial. I mean the investment of this is my business, my organization, this thing I built. Every time I hire somebody, that's an investment that I'm making. And they should be making it with us.
Well, it's up to them and you, of course, too, to help to carve out what it is that they can do and do well.
Yes, and that goes to training as well.
We all have assets and we all have liabilities. Don't ask me to add up a column of figures because I'll come out with two different answers if I do it twice. So that's not. You don't want me ringing up the cash register.
Correct. It's about training and about skills assessment.
Right.
But just like it is for all of us, I don't start a new job without training. You wouldn't start a new job without training. Right. We're not expecting anything different from the people we support as we are from somebody that we don't support. It's when you break it down, it's really quite simple. We make it more complex than it needs to be.
One of the and this is the Go Center has been a major part of recycling efforts here in Bardstown in Nelson County for a very long time, even back before they moved out to where they are now, down at the formerly known as the Bardstown Sewing Factory.
Right.
Down there.
Yeah.
Now I know fiscal court and I think the city are both trying to encourage or expand their efforts to encourage recycling.
There is a big new initiative out, and some of the people that work with us are working with that initiative. Okay. Yeah. Scarlett Hibbs is involved in that, and Gary is involved with that. It's just really an expansion of the recycling program. A lot of that recycling program works with Communicare, which is our partner organization in our facility. Right. I see in the future the Guthrie Center is playing an even bigger role.
Well, it's really needed. I mean, I keep mine all separate and ready to go and everything, but being able to get there between 7 a.m. and 2 o'clock is not always easy for me to do that. So if they can expand the hours and make it any more convenient, I think it would be great.
I think that's the goal. I think right now they have some 24-hour drop-off bins, which is going to be helpful to some people. But the hours need to be expanded, and the hours need to be consistent. We need to focus on making sure that it's consistent, and that we don't want to discourage people because that's you come there twice and you can't get done what you need to get done. You're going to stop coming.
Well, due to recycling, my weekly garbage in a normal week when don't have all 6 kids there. Is one small kitchen garbage bag, because I'm recycling all of the paper, the cardboard, and the plastic.
You're exactly right. If I didn't make so much homemade applesauce for the grandson, my garbage would be a lot less, and it would be just recycling as well. But I make a lot of applesauce.
But we'll have you on to
talk about making the applesauce.
Cooking is my sort of love language, if that's a phrase that.
No, that's great. I really encourage that type since I quit cooking several years ago.
It's the thing that I love to do. It's how I it's how I show my family that I care about them. Now, whether they believe it or agree with it is a different story. I did something weird the other day.
If they're wolfing it down, they appreciate it.
Either they're really hungry, they want to don't want to hurt my feelings. I made a mistake with the jalapeno rice the other day, and it was really spicier than it should have been, but it's the only rice we have now, so it's what we're going to eat.
Gonna like it, like it or not.
Yeah, it was a bit of a judgment call at the time, and it was a poor call.
Well, my food specialty is meatloaf and homemade biscuits. So
nice. Meatloaf is a real challenge.
That's
not easy.
Good.
Well, it usually turns out good. Not always.
No, I'm sure it does. But my issue with meatloaf is getting it cooked on the inside without burning the outside, because you have all that sugar coating on the outside, and that's the best part of it. But meatloaf is tough.
Okay.
Meatloaf is tough.
Anyway, and of course...
anytime you're ready to host dinner, you have a couple of...
I'll let Brenda and Jillian know. They'll make it.
Well, speaking of food, on-the-go foods, it's tremendous, you know.
Thank you.
I was in leadership in Nelson County several years ago, and I think we had box lunches from on-the-go foods, and it was always excellent.
Thank you. I put that squarely on Brenda and Jillian and the people that we support. I believe, and I haven't been here that long, but what I'm told is that the food has gotten even better of late.
Excellent.
So I'm really, really excited to hear that people are enjoying it. I eat lunch there most days. I'm a soup person, so I really like the soup they make. They have chili every day and then one other soup. The salads are really good. They're not just iceberg lettuce salads like you get most places. They're unique. We're famous for our chicken salad, and our frozen lasagna is something that people know. So thank you for saying that. We're limited only by space and time and ingredients. They are always seeking to grow. We're trying to do more hot lunch specials at least 3 days a week. People seem to love the turkey and dressing day and mashed potatoes day. We do hamburgers. There's been tacos. It makes the whole building smell amazing. So we're very fortunate to have the group we've got there. That's when you come into a new position, the challenge for a new leader is quelling the anxiety of the people that are already there. Sure. Because any change is scary. Yeah. Am I going to come in and change their lives? Am I going to make things worse? Am I going to work them harder? Am I going to not be friendly? Am I going to be a jerk? Am I going to not ask enough of them? Am I going to ask too much of them? So really, that building those relationships has been so key. Coming in, Tom and Linda both paved the way for me to come in and really in a very seamless transition. As I mentioned, Brenda and Jillian keep the event space and the on-the-go food space running like a top. Eric's got the garden ready to go. He opens, I believe Monday is when the garden center opens. Is that the 21st? So he opens the garden center so people can go in and buy their plants for the planting season. I'm sure we'll get 6 inches of snow in May, so we probably shouldn't plant yet, but that's what we do here in Kentucky. So everybody's made it very easy for me.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, I want to ask you now, is it open like a restaurant, like you could go in any time, or are there certain hours?
Great question. Yeah. Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 is when the front-facing restaurant's open. You want to cater a meeting or get some box lunches brought in, give us a call or check us online. Right. We are very happy and love to do that sort of thing. We also work, another partnership is we do something called Meals from the Heart, which is through the Church of Nazareth church that sends meals out to people that aren't able to get meals for themselves, and we're very fortunate to work with them. It is, while we love the work, being able to serve, and not just, so we're serving multiple groups, right? We're serving the people that we support, and the people that we support get to serve the people that need support as well. Right. And it's a really fantastic cycle. So we're very lucky to have Chris over at that organization. Has been really great to us, and we love working with her. Although I heard she's retiring. Is that true? Okay.
I haven't heard.
I don't know. Heard she's retiring. I hope she's not, but she might be.
All right, we need to take a break and get in some commercials.
That's not okay with me.
Well,
we don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, I'm speechless for once. And my wife will tell you just once. All right. Bradford and Brooks will be right back after these messages. Stay tuned, and we'll continue our conversation with Dr. Lee Look, who's CEO of the Guthrie Opportunity Center, and all the wonderful work that they do out there. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. All right, you're back with Bradford and Brooks, Jim and Margie here with you till the top of the hour. And then stay tuned to WBRT for the best in national and local news. All right, our special guest today is Dr. Lee Look, who's CEO of the Guthrie Opportunity Center, which operates as on-the-go foods and What else am I forgetting?
On-the-go logistics, our work with, I guess we haven't mentioned all our programming. Let me go back and correct an error I made, please.
Yes.
I said Nazareth. It's actually St. Vincent de Paul. I don't know what I was thinking. I got intimidated by the microphones. So, Chris, I apologize for that. Again, it doesn't change the fact how grateful we are for the work and how much we enjoy being able to serve multiple communities in this initiative. So, thank you. But yeah, we have probably quite a bit of programming we haven't discussed. I'm happy to branch out into some of that.
Tell us all.
We have recently developed a partnership with Justin Hall, the jailer here. What an amazing individual. I don't know if you've had a chance to meet or talk with him, but the things he does at that facility, at its very core, he treats inmates like people, which shouldn't be an earth-shattering thing, but it is. And he is changing lives over there. So we're so fortunate. The inmates in the jail have work crews, and they go out and serve the community in that way. And I think that's fantastic. We would like to work with him in that way, and we are. We've got some projects around our facility that we'd like to work with him on. But in exchange, Justin has asked, one of his goals is to have a community garden. We're very fortunate we have the real estate and gardening set up so he can have that. So we're giving him a community garden. Our garden director, Eric, is going to teach them how to do a garden, because most people don't know. I can't grow a good tomato to save my life. I try every year, and the squirrels get all of them, and then they get bugs, and I'm terrible at it. So having someone like Eric, who is really a scientist, he comes from Bernheim, he knows that world really well. So he's going to teach these work crews how to garden, and they're going to build a garden and grow it and give the produce to other organizations, and in exchange they're going to do some work for us. So it's not just us taking from them, but it's giving us a chance to hopefully allow some of these people that are made some mistakes in life, serving their time, but give them a skill set and some pride and ownership in something, rather than just waiting for their sentence to be over.
Will those same prisoners get some of the produce from their garden?
Of course, if they want it, of course they will. Their food service is contracted, and so bringing produce into meals like that hasn't been a successful undertaking yet. It might be. If we get a bunch of tomatoes, I can't imagine they wouldn't want those. It's certainly their call. They can do whatever they want to with the produce. It's not up to us. It's their garden.
Well, community garden's a phenomenal idea, because all these programs that Justin as jailer has been supporting. If you're incarcerated and you're going to be in there a while, it gives them pride in work, something that contributes back to the community, and opportunities to learn new skills that and I think that's just a wonderful, super program, rather than sitting in jail all the time and waiting, trying to figure out how you're going to get out.
I couldn't agree more, Jim. And one question that has come to me is, well, Lee, how does that serve your mission? And I think when you look at the research, the mission is explicitly served. There is a significant percentage of inmates that are either undiagnosed or diagnosed with an intellectual disability. Right. We all were young at one point. We all made mistakes. Some of us got caught and some of us didn't. Some of those people just got caught. It could have been me, it could be you, it could be people that we care about. Everybody deserves a second chance. And hopefully, as you were saying, Jim, having something to take pride and ownership in, both to learn and to give back, right?
Sure.
There's just no downside. The community has some sort of socially made fears of people that are incarcerated. Justin is not going to put anybody in a position for anybody to get hurt.
Right.
He's going to take care of everybody.
Well, and the inmate work program has contributed so much to the community. I mean, the county just wrapped up its annual bulk item pickup.
You're right.
And there was a crew helping with that effort, and they're also helping with some of the flood relief efforts, and it's just phenomenal. And I don't know. I mean, I think that's probably helping change lives in ways that we really can't comprehend right now.
I think you're right. We won't know, because hopefully Justin will never see these people again, and he won't know the impact that he had on them, and hopefully the impact that perhaps the Ghost Center and maybe the people that we support have on them. We are all in this community, and we don't I think, realize how our interactions can influence our futures and our roles.
How connected we all are.
Yeah,
really.
and we just have to acknowledge that. We silo ourselves off. You're in this political camp, or you're a Kentucky fan, or you're a fan of this kind of music, and we don't ever allow for the possibility that there's a Venn diagram of crossover. We're never going to agree on everything, but there is that Venn diagram.
The Venn diagram, that brings me back to my employment with newspapers, because we were in a certain management program the company adopted, and we always did these Venn diagrams were one of the many charts that we did. So that it's almost like a nightmare because I worked for a publisher who hated having to diagram anything. And so that was one of his least favorites.
Well, I hope that I haven't given you horrible dreams and that you never have me back on again because of the dreams.
No.
You wouldn't be the first person to say that, though.
But I asked. My son was a computer science major now, on top of his physics degree. But anyway, he always teased me about, because he was big in calculus and math, and about Venn diagrams and everything, and I would just shudder. So just don't say that word,
But you mentioned your son's in computers. We one of the things, you mentioned fundraising, and fundraising is absolutely something we're doing. I will plug again. May the 13th is Kentucky Gives Day. You'll hear more about it. What else we are seeking to do is to build a stronger volunteer contingent. We have an incredible core of volunteers, but we need more. We have a huge facility, and every part of our facility needs some sort of attention in some way that a volunteer could take some ownership of. We want to build those partnerships. We can't hire 50 people to do the work that needs to be done. We get a lot of work done by our volunteers, but we're working them all very hard. We need a bigger contingent. So I would encourage anybody that wants to serve this community or help out in whatever skill set you have. We have a need for that. If you are great at cleaning, we have a need for that. If you're great at organizing, we have a need for that. If you're great at bookkeeping, we have a need for that. If you're great at social media, we have a need for that. If you're great at information technology, got a need for that. If you're great at gardening, got a need for that. You pick something, we will utilize your skill set and meet you where you are.
Awesome.
So yes, fundraising is absolutely part of what I need to do, but also increasing that volunteer involvement. It's who we've been and who we need to still be.
Talent recruitment.
There you go. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Is there who should people contact if they're interested in helping out with their skill set?
I'd say let's start with either myself or Linda. Linda's our operations manager, and she won't mind me giving out her email, I hope. If not, she'll text me.
Linda.
Yes, linda.spalding@gocenter.org, and it's SPALDING. Or you can reach out to me at
Linda. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Go back again.
Linda, LINDA, dot Spalding, SPALDING, at GoCenter, GOCENTER.org.
Is it all low or high?
It's not case sensitive. All lowercase is fine.
Okay. At GoCenter.org. Okay.
Or you can reach out to me. I am lee.look. That's LEE.LOOK at GoCenter.org. So yeah, we can get you in touch with the right people if you just reach out to myself or to Linda.
All right.
Thank you for letting us plug that. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. And Linda's assistant director?
She's our operations manager.
Operations manager. Okay.
All right. I know that. Now I don't know if like high school students who looking for volunteer hours, it sounds like you can make use of whatever time and skill people can bring
Correct.
to the table.
We partner a lot with schools that need service hours. We have another outreach. It's called our Go Quest outreach is a monthly event where we invite the local schools and the classes that serve the children with intellectual disabilities and bring them into our facility. Awesome. We have a lunch. It's more of a fun event, but the goal of it is to grow to the point where we can start advising families of what happens when your loved one ages out of the school system. what's out there for you.
Right.
Not everybody's on the Medicaid waiver. I don't want to get too in the weeds, but there's multiple waivers that serve people with intellectual disabilities.
Right.
Some people are on it, some people are not. But what are the options and how do you do it? It is a muddy water to traverse.
Oh, that's a wonderful program.
Yes, that is.
My wife's cousin has a son in IDD, and once he graduated high school, that was the question: what happens now?
Right.
And that was a big question mark for them, what they were going to do. So that's a wonderful. Well, I'm sure that parents can contact you all to for kind of a heads up on on the need, what their need is versus what you all either can offer or direction, resources.
Yes, and the direction would be we would refer them. We would tell them what we know, but we're very sort of siloed on what we do.
Right.
But what we would do is we would send them to a case management agency and let them talk to a case manager who can guide them through those waters.
Okay.
There's also Medicaid does have a lot of information out there for people, and then we can provide what we can provide. And every family's going to be different.
Sure.
It just is.
All right. Well, we're getting down to the last minute and a half. What else would you like to share with our listening audience about the Go Center? Those of us who have had advantage of on-the-go foods or dropped, recycling, the support you all give for that program. Know about the Go Center, but for people who may be new to the community or just don't know a lot about your all's mission.
Thank you. Yeah, I would love to go another hour, but I'm guessing we can't do that. I want to thank the community for accepting me. I am a brought-in, as they say, and I'm not from here, so I'm grateful that they've accepted me. I'm grateful that the organization has taken a shot with me. What I want them to know about the Go Center is that we're here to serve, and we will do everything we can to support the people with intellectual and developmental disabilities that are in need. That is our sole mission.
Well, just from our conversation, you have a service-oriented heart and a passion for that, and I mean that your background, you were the obvious choice in my book.
Thank you, Jim.
To follow up Tom Hamilton's service to the community. Anyway, well, that's going to do it. And Lee, thank you so much. And if we will have you back on again.
I hope you will. Thank you. Thank you, Margie. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for Bradford and Brooks. Margie and I will be back next Wednesday with another show. Until then, have a great week, everybody.